Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 11. The girl wearing the veil is Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped for 9 months by the man on the far right. This photo was taken at a party the kidnapper crashed with Elizabeth, and she was forced to wear this veil at all times to keep her from being recognized in public.
Have you ever heard about the Samsung phones theory?
Never heard about it.
So you know how they always brag about their phone being better than an iPhone?
Yeah, they always say like their cameras are the best and...
Yeah, exactly. They say you can literally point your camera at the moon and the image will surpass a telescope's view. They really do market it as being able to zoom into the moon. So
I was born on the 13th.
Is this a coincidence? I think not, but you tell me.
I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in the US in 13 weeks. Every time I've won an award at an award show, I've been seated in row M, which is the 13th letter, or like the 13th seat, or the 13th row, or the 13th section. It's really a good number.
I'm back, it's your boy FITTIE, and today we're going to be taking a look at these creepy TikTok videos. If you guys like the videos, try to get to 1,000 likes this video. If you guys like the chain, check the link down in the description.
Here are some Disney secrets that you didn't know. If you look close, you can see that most scenes from different Disney movies are actually very similar. And that's because drawings were actually made by hand. And the animators only make a few changes to make a new scene. And since Walt Disney wanted to spend most of his time at Disneyland, he actually built a secret apartment on the second floor of the fire station, which is located on the famous avenue that leads you to the park's Central Plaza. And the name of the wizard in Fantasia is actually Yenzin, which is actually the word Disney in reverse. And Boo from Monsters Inc.'s real name is actually Mary. And that's because the person who plays her is called Mary Gibbs.
Scary facts that will make your skin crawl. PT.6. Phobias are based on how we died in our past life. Maybe that's why we're afraid to do things we never tried, because it's how we died. Experts said that dark areas, such as abandoned houses and vacant rooms, are the possible places where you can feel the presence of ghosts. So if you're alone right now while reading this post, there is a chance that someone is watching you. If you're awake at night without a reason, then it means that you are awake in someone else's dreams.
If I'm being honest, I can see the phobia one being real. Like, that's a way that we honestly, I don't even think it's real. I feel like just our brain just is like, yo, nah, but then how would it? Because subconsciously, we low-key fear things that we just, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that our phobias could be of how we died in our past life, or it's just something that your brain chemically just knows not to touch? Or was it just something that was taught? Because I'm like, how do we know spiders are bad? Like, do we just, is it a trained fear, or is it something subconscious?
Conspiracy theories that'll ruin your childhood, part 3. The first one is about finding Nemo. Did you know that Nemo actually translates to nothing or nobody in Latin? And some people think that that's just what he was. He was nothing. After the traumatic attack on his family, Marlin created a fictional son in his mind in order to cope with the loss. So finding Nemo was really just him going through the stages of grief. And that's also why he's so overprotective. And the next one gets even darker. It's about cars. When you were watching this, you might have noticed that there are no humans anywhere. But humans had to have been there at some point to build the cars, change the motors, and all that kind of stuff. So what happened to them? The theory is that in the future, technological advancements made it possible for cars to think on their own. Which I feel like at this point is not that far of a stretch, you know what I mean? But they didn't want to be controlled by humans anymore. So they ran over all the humans one by one until they took over the world.
Dude, there's no way. If that's real, then that's actually a little bit crazy. It's gonna make me look at the Cars movie way different now.
Websites you should probably remember. SAAI.ai. This website allows you to generate custom articles from the click of a button. Once you're on the website, there are 3 separate options. First, input what topic you want to talk about. The second one is you want to select what type of essay you're willing to write. You can choose from all of these options. Third, select how many words you want it to actually be. Then finally, you can select which language you want to do. Here's a tip. If you click the undetectable mode, it will make it look like an actual human wrote it, giving you a 0% AI score, which means teachers or people you're sending this to will think you're the one who actually wrote it, and we can use GPT-0 to check the results of this, and as you can see, bam, here they are. Good luck with this, and please don't snitch.
Morbid Facts, Part 389. In 1987, police responded to Illinois father Russell Dardine's home after he failed to report to work. There they found the dead bodies of his pregnant wife Ruby and their son, who were both victims of a brutal beating. Ruby was beaten so badly that she prematurely went into labor, and even the newborn baby was beaten to death as well. Initially, Keith was the most obvious suspect until his body was found shot dead in a nearby field with his genitals mutilated. Serial killer Tommy Lynn Sells later confessed to the murders but was never formally charged, so the case remains cold. In In 1980, John Favera, the neighbor of mafia boss John Gotti, accidentally ran over and killed the mobster's 12-year-old son Frank. Although it was ruled an accident, Favera went missing that same year and was never seen nor heard from again. Former mobster Charles Carneglia later claimed that Favera was abducted, tortured, and slowly dismembered with a chainsaw while he was still alive. His remains were then stuffed inside a barrel filled with concrete and dumped in the ocean.
Dude, the one that really shocked me was the one where you said that she got beaten so badly she prematurely went into labor?
Gross habits that are actually good for you. You probably think burping is rude and disrespectful. Well, that's wrong. Burping actually helps release the air that's trapped inside your lungs. And believe it or not, but if you never burp, you could actually damage your digestive system. Biting your nails might seem nasty at first, but digesting bacteria that's under your nails actually improves your immune system. Studies show that kids who bite their nails are actually less prone to getting sick. Before I tell you the grossest one, I found this app where you can erase anything from your photos, and I mean literally anything. Press the link in my bio, but don't use it for bad. If you shower every day, stop right now. Showering every day could actually damage your skin and your hair, because when you shower, you remove many useful bacteria. So the next time you skip a few showers, just know you're actually being healthy.
Alright, I feel like the showering one was a stretch, because if I'm being honest, like, you need to, if you do physical activity or you're outside a lot, please shower. I feel like he's talking about for the people that are not so active. Like, let's say, you spend like a day in the house, it's a calm, chill day. You spend the whole day in the house. Maybe you don't need to shower that night or that morning, But like the next day, please shower.
48-year-old David Carpenter from Iowa was recently arrested after accidentally shooting his father in the face after the two were arguing about David's stinky feet. He is now awaiting trial. Here are some recent crimes that happened in August of 2024 that caught my attention. This is 25-year-old David Fogel, who was kicked out of a strip club in Tampa, Florida for, quote, inappropriate behavior. Instead of driving home, he drove his truck into a group of people waiting outside the entrance. He injured multiple and took the life of one. He is now awaiting trial and could receive life in prison. A missing persons cold case from 1974 of 34-year-old Doris Wurst and her daughter 4-year-old Karen was recently closed after police received a call of a car located at the bottom of a canal. Inside were the remains of both Doris and Karen. One speculation as to how the two ended up in the bottom of the canal is from CBSNews.com. Quote, the mother and the girl's father were going through a custody battle at the time the mom and the girl went missing. A source said the mom took off with the 4-year-old girl and threatened to take her life and the life of her daughter if she couldn't have custody. Let me know your thoughts.
Oh yeah, if that mom did that while they're fighting for custody, she 100% did not deserve custody of that child. She literally said, if I can't have her, then no one can have her. That's super messed up, mostly as a parent. You're supposed to be protecting your kid, dude. Like, what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing, ma'am?
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 11. The girl wearing the veil is Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped for 9 months by the man on the far right. This photo was taken at a party the kidnapper crashed with Elizabeth, and she was forced to wear this veil at all times to keep her from being recognized in public. While this photo may seem like a bunch of astronauts hanging out at the pool and having a great time, it's actually the crew of Apollo 1. They died inside the capsule on the left, unable to escape the fire. This is Chernobyl Elephant's Foot, a massive radiation from the reactor core meltdown. If you hang around it for too long, it becomes deadly, but not nearly as much as in 1986. It's so deadly that they had to use a set of mirrors to take this photograph. This photo was just taken after LBJ became president following the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In the front, you'll see Jackie Kennedy grieving her husband's death. LBJ turned toward his lifelong friend, Texas Congressman Albert Thomas, who gave him a wink and a smile.
A wink and a smile? On top of the fact that everyone already thinks the JFK assassination was planned by the CIA, that right there was a little bit more questionable.
For people trying to reduce their screen time, there just might be a solution for you. A trend has been going around where people have started using dumb phones. So basically, instead of carrying around your smartphone, people have now started using these things. So the way that it works is that these phones don't have any social media or apps, and you only have access to your contacts for minimal texting and calling. Companies such as Punked and Light Phones carry these, and they're sold starting at $300. And the entire purpose of this is to get people to stop scrolling on their phone for hours and hours. But what I find very interesting about this concept is that we as people do not have enough self-control to stop ourselves from scrolling for hours on these social media apps, that we have to go ahead and buy another phone so that we can control our addiction. I remember growing up, we had something very similar to this, but not on purpose. We just didn't have the technology that we have now. I literally had one of these as my first phone in grade 8, and I could only text and call, and I swear I had a limit of about 300 texts that I can send in 1 month. So when I went over that, the bill would be much higher and I would get in shit. These things did not have any apps or social media, so we didn't have the issues that we have now. So what do you guys think about this trend? Would you use it?
I mean, she is right. We really don't have enough self-control. And like, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, it's just put down the phones or whatever, but it's almost like a subconscious thing. Like I remember this one time I was getting some food, right? Like I was trying to go get some food, and I remember just looking at my phone, and then like I was like, all right, well, you know, I just don't have anything else. So I clicked on TikTok, and then I exited TikTok just to go right back on TikTok. I'm just like, why the hell am I back on TikTok? And I consciously tapped in that. How the hell did I get back on TikTok? Like it's literally an addiction. It's tragic.
Here are some 1 in a million coincidences. This lady's phone background is the exact same as the picture on this truck. What are the chances? And the picture on the back of this RV lines up perfectly with the mountains. Now I want to know, did these two guys plan this? Because it spells out Cookie Monster. That cannot be a coincidence. And these two people are wearing opposite colored clothes and opposite color hair. Now they're definitely a perfect match. Now this one's crazy. They're wearing the same jacket, same scarf, and even have the exact same blue hair.
I'm sorry, but what did scientists just create? And how is no one talking about this? Trust me, favorite this video because this is the craziest news of the century. Scientists in Beijing just cloned and brought back dragons. But you might be wondering what I mean by brought back. Well, as it turns out, in early to mid last year, in the mountains of Taimoshan, actual dragon remains were found. Personally, I've waited a long time for this. I am a Targaryen! Using the method of carbon dating, they were approximated to be 15,000 years old. Even the scales were still visible. Now, they quickly acquired the DNA from the dragon remains and proceeded to combine it with the DNA and RNA of lizards that are alive today, such as with the Komodo dragon, with the iguana, and with the bearded dragon. Finally created an actual species of dragon. Now, this was all leaked online by one of the researchers, coming out with emails between the researchers and the government, as well as picture proof. However, this is the part you're gonna go, what? In one of the emails, it was pointed out that one of the dragons that had been combined with a Komodo dragon had developed toxic venom. A venom which we have no cure for because, you know, we created the dragon! This is literally one of the most insane things I've ever spoken about on this channel. So send this to literally anyone you know to completely waste their time. Because I'm pretty sure all of these images are AI generated to fool us into thinking dragons existed. I'm really sorry.
No way we created dragons, dude. Just for a split second, until he told me they were AI generated, I was like, come on, dude.
Have you ever heard about the Samsung phones theory?
Never heard about it.
So you know how they always brag about their phone being better than an iPhone?
Yeah, they always say like their cameras are the best, and
yeah, exactly. They say you can literally point your camera at the moon and the image will surpass a telescope's view. They really do market it as being able to zoom into the moon. So I watched a video by Shane Dawson and saw this clip. Did you see how the guy zooms into the moon?
Oh my god.
It looks really sharp, right?
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Samsung recently admitted that they actually enhance moon photos on Samsung phones using AI, and a guy made a video demonstrating how Samsung does this. It's crazy how he pulls it off. So he took a plain white circle and placed it across his house. Then he zoomed in fully to fool the phone into thinking it was the moon. The camera then swapped that white circle for an image of the moon.
Wow. So it started as just a white circle and then transformed into the moon.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Was this Reddit user actually abducted by aliens? Reddit user Seeker469 said that as a kid, he was spending the night at his aunt and uncle's house, which was out in the sticks in Tennessee. He was sleeping on the couch and woke up due to a bright light coming through the kitchen window into the living room. He was facing the light, which was white and slightly flickering, for about 10 minutes. Then he turned his head as it was keeping him awake. A few more minutes passed and he turned his head back towards the light and was about to go to sleep when he saw a tall, dark figure standing in front of him. He was frozen and could not move or scream. It approached him, reached out, and began tapping on his forehead with what felt like a nail or something pointed. He said that this went on for another few minutes until he must have fallen or was put to sleep. He woke up the next morning to a quiet house. He went to the bathroom and he had a red spot on his forehead. The skin was slightly broken, but there was no blood.
As of right now, this is definitely in my top 10, absolutely top 5. It is easily one of the most uniquely effective horror movies. This movie is about a woman named Ella who is a stop-motion animator working with her mother. And when the mother becomes hospitalized, it is up to Ella to finish her mother's vision, which Ella doesn't really want to do. And with the help of this random little girl from down the hallway, Ella tries to create a film like no other. However, when the world of reality and the world of stop motion start to really bleed together, it's gonna make you wonder for the entire runtime of the movie, what is real? Now, in my opinion, I absolutely loved this movie. I don't know if the director is a genius or accidentally one, because everything in this movie just somehow works, and it works without answering all of your questions. It is a very dreamlike and ethereal type movie, so from the start, you're kind of questioning about everything, which some people are gonna love and some people are really not gonna like. And it goes without saying, the stop motion animation in this is perfectly creepy. If you've seen any of the previous works of the director, take the weirdness and tone of that and put it into a movie. Now, as far as like what type of scares to be prepared for in this movie, it's a good mix of a lot of different things. A handful of jump scares here and there, but what it's really effective is when the purpose of the movie is just to solely creep you out. But a warning to the squeamish, there are a couple of body horror scenes that can be kind of rough. They're extraordinarily well done. Just keep that in mind towards the end. Now, stop motion has a very limited run in theaters. Hopefully there's more showings in the future. But the good news is stop motion will be streaming on Shudder on May 31st. If you've seen this movie, what do you guys think?
Right, here we go again. A time traveler from the year 2671 has warned us about these dates in 2024. So make sure to favorite this video so we can keep track of these dates and see if they were right. Let's hope they aren't. Let's start with January 23rd, 2024. A message is sent from an underground civilization known as the Splitting World. Essentially, we go under the Earth's crust to discover a whole new world. With a new kind of human, but of course, they want war. For fuck's sake! March 7th, 2024. A mirrored Earth is found inside our solar system and is the exact opposite to Earth. Essentially, yes, it is habitable, but the gravity and physics are completely different, and on top of that, plants are red and the water's purple. What? Didn't think it could get weirder? You'd be wrong. Let's talk about April 15th, where SpaceX finds out how to make a spaceship travel the speed of light. However, like everything, this comes with its problems. Because apparently this is when we begin to meet alien life forms, who of course want to steal the light speed engine from us. Finally, we have June 29th, 10 days after my birthday. Mark your calendars. Where 197 mysterious statues appear around the world. One in every single country. Apparently, we eventually find out that the statues were placed here to track and scare humanity. Mission succeeded. And they release many terrible things. Now, I did my research. I have no idea what terrible things means. Could you be more cryptic? There are literally so many more, so I think I'm going to do a part 2 tomorrow. And do you think any of these will come true? Elon!
I'm not gonna lie, I think one or two of those were actually kind of accurate. Actually, just one. The one where they say the mirrored Earth, that I'm pretty sure I don't know, this did not come out in 2024, but in 2023 they were saying that there was an Earth where time runs backwards. It's like a parallel universe or something. Like, I don't even know, bro. Like, there's so much news nowadays that it's just like you don't know which one is real from what is fake, bro. Because people just say anything. That guy tricked us about the dragon. I don't even believe anything he says anymore.
This girl found a secret safe under her floor, but you seriously won't believe what they found inside. One day, Joe and his daughter Rebecca were cleaning out her closet when they discovered a secret safe under the tile. They tried guessing the combination hundreds of times, but they couldn't get it open. Joe even posted on social media asking if anyone knew how to open the safe. And that's when when a licensed locksmith saw the serial number and got the combination from the manufacturer, but you won't believe what they found inside. The safe was filled with water, so he grabbed some gloves and pulled out a solid gold coin, and it turns out it's actually worth $180.
These are some of the strangest graves in the world. In a small village located deep into the Philippines, there's a tribe that has a specific ritual. Every member that passes away is placed in a coffin and then nailed against the side of a mountain. The idea is their souls will be closer to God in the afterlife. And there's thousands of these coffins. And George Thomas was decapitated almost 200 years ago from an accident. And at his gravesite, a statue of him actually holds his head up. It's facing towards him so he can watch over his soul.
The world's scariest unsolved mysteries. This photo shows all the world's mysteries from the most well-known to the darkest of the dark. In this series, we're going to be going through each category until we reach tier 10, which will apparently ruin my life and change the way we all see the world. So, I'm pretty terrified. If you haven't, go watch the previous 3 parts now. If you have, stick around. Make sure to hit that follow button because stuff is going to get crazy. Today we're going to be looking at the Russian microwaves. Now this sounds really boring and weird, but it is so messed up. So basically the Russian government started putting up these discs which look like satellite. They don't look like they cause any harm, but they eventually admitted they were using microwave technology and radiation, almost as some kind of weapon. But why? Well, these were actually planted near an American embassy. Lots of CIA operatives were, and spies. And a lot of these people got extremely ill and had to leave their jobs because of this radiation. Now the theory is the Russian government were doing this on purpose, to get these spies out of the country. What do you think? Why else would they be using microwave weapons?
Another cold case has been solved thanks to advanced DNA testing. Julie Williams and Laura Lolly Winans were both 24 years old when they went on a camping trip in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia in May 1996. The two had met through a group that organized outdoor adventures, so they were so excited to be going on this trip. They left on May 19th with plans to return on the 28th, and when they did not make it home, their family called the National Park Service to report them missing. Unfortunately, after an extensive search, on June 1st, Julie and Lolly were found murdered at their campsite just off the Appalachian Trail. They had been bound and gagged, and their throats had been slit, but their case quickly went cold and remained that way for the past 28 years. In 2021, the FBI assigned a new team in Richmond to review the case. The team began retesting evidence and submitted it to a private lab, which was able to pull DNA from several pieces of evidence. And last week, it was announced that the FBI had identified the man responsible for killing Julie and Lolly. The DNA retrieved from the evidence was entered into CODIS, and it came back as a match to convicted serial rapist Walter Leo Jackson Sr. Jackson had a lengthy criminal history, including kidnapping and sexual, and he was also known to visit the Shenandoah National Park. He was most recently sent to prison on multiple charges in 2011, and he ended up dying in prison in March 2018. So unfortunately, he will not have to face justice for what he did to Julie and Lolly. But at least now their families have answers. The FBI has also said that they are continuing to investigate if Jackson can be connected to any other unsolved crimes and are asking for anybody with any information about him to come forward. Both Julie and Lolly loved spending time outdoors and were so excited for their camping trip when their lives were so senselessly taken. Rest in peace, Julie and Lolly.
Want to hear a truly eerie case? This is the bizarre disappearance of Brandon Swanson. On May 13, 2008, Brandon Swanson had just completed his first year at a local technical college where he lived in Marshall, Minnesota. That evening, he and some friends celebrated at a home nearby in Canby. According to friends at the party, Brandon seemed fine when he left the party just after midnight. Brandon was going to make the 30-minute drive back to his parents' home in Marshall. Almost an hour later at 1:15 a.m., Brandon got his car stuck in a ditch. He first called friends for assistance, but they didn't answer, so he called his parents and told them that he was stuck. When asked, he said he wasn't injured, and Brian and Annette, his parents, drove and reached their son's mentioned location to try and find him. But strangely, when they get there, they don't find Brandon nor the car. They get back on the phone with Brandon and begin flashing their headlights. Brandon said he could see a light in the distance and said he would walk towards it. Staying on the phone with his dad during his journey, Brandon told him that he passed some fences and could overhear water flowing in the distance. Shortly after 2:30 a.m., 47 minutes into their phone call, Brandon suddenly shouted, "Oh shit," and then silence. His parents hung up and tried to call back again and again, but there was no answer. His parents continue driving around searching for their son or the car, but can't find anything. The next day, police start their search, and to add to the mystery, investigators looked at Brandon's cell phone records, and it indicated that Brandon was actually 25 miles from where he said he was, in a town called Porter. This led to the discovery of his car in a ditch nearby. In the following months, police and volunteers combed the area on foot, horseback, and all-terrain vehicles. But to this day, Brandon has never been found. Brandon's state of mind has been called into question, but both friends at the party and Brandon's parents said that he seemed fine. Mysterious. Overall, a really sad case for Brandon's family. What are your thoughts?
I was born on the 13th.
Is this a coincidence? I think not, but you tell me.
I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in the US in 13 weeks. Every time I've won an award at an award show, I've been seated in row M, which is the 13th letter, or like the 13th seat, or the 13th row, or the 13th section. It's really a good number.
Wait, hold on, there's more.
You guys know what Super Bowl this is? It's 58. You know what 5 plus 8 is? 13. It's Taylor Swift's album called 13. Yo! Dang! You guys know the date of the Super Bowl? It's the 11th. Yeah. Of? February. 11 plus 2. Yeah. Yo! Who are they playing? The 49ers. It's 4 plus 9. Dude, come on. 13. Just saying. What seed are the 49ers? The 1 seed. What seed are the Chiefs? The 2 seed. No, the 3. 1 and 3. 13. This dude is so stupid. Where's Taylor Swift coming from? She's coming from Tokyo to the Super Bowl. What does that mean? A flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas. 13 hours. 13 hours. And I'm not even kidding. What the You know how many games Taylor Swift has been to? 13? 12. This is the 13? The Super Bowl will be the 13. Is this all true?
Yeah, no, this is all for real. Brock Purdy's jersey number is 13, so that's 8. The funny thing is, in numerology, 13 actually symbolizes good luck. If you made it this far, there's absolutely no way you watched all of that and thought to yourself, that's just a coincidence. Hell no. But what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments.
If that's a coincidence, that's too heavy of a coincidence. Like, why is 13th like such a Taylor Swift number, bro? I really want to know like the science behind that, because I'm genuinely curious to why she's like, everything for me is on the 13th, and all of this with the Super Bowl that she's going to is on the everything is 13th. It's kind of suspicious if I'm being honest. But anyways, if you guys like the video, please like the video. If you guys like the channel, remember to check the link down in the description. Try to get to 1,000 likes this video. I love y'all. I'm working on the stream. I'm pretty much 90% complete. I just got 10% more to go. We'll be up soon, baby. Trust the process. Love y'all, boys.